Could this EV craze be coming to an end? EV makers are shocked and in astonishment at the dramatic decline the EV sector is currently experiencing. Let's see more about this. The EV sector is in crisis mode, with losses exceeding $5 billion and thousands of unsold EVs waiting in dealer lots. Not only that, but government officials have concealed a serious fire risk connected to these automobiles. It turns out that EVs are not as futuristic as many had thought, since people are becoming less and less trusting of them because of hidden defects and reliability problems. It's concerning how much of an issue this is. Imagine sizable cemeteries brimming with more than 94,000 unsold electric vehicles. Yet dealers are reluctant to part with them. Consumers aren't falling for the hoopla, even with government efforts to pump billions into the market. It appears that people everywhere are realizing that electric vehicles might not be the answer that has been hailed. Renowned economist Steve Moore, who has a track record of correctly spotting market meltdowns, has issued a dire warning about EVs. In keeping with this, 5 previously unknown fatal EV defects have been made public via a leaked consumer report. The reasons behind the EV production halts by major automakers, including Ford, GM, Tesla, and Jeep, have been clarified by these discoveries. They now realize that EV sales are not what they had hoped for. For instance, General Motors lost $1 billion on its pricey and ineffective EVs, while Ford lost $36,000 on each vehicle it sold. Even the well-known electric car manufacturer Tesla is cutting prices everywhere in an effort to boost sales. However, it is concerning that thousands of unsold electric vehicles are sitting idle in dealership lots due to their quick depreciation. Owners of used EVs are furious as the value of their vehicles has decreased by an average of 33.7% since last year. The costs of having an electric vehicle are also rising. In addition to paying outrageous purchase prices, customers also have to deal with high insurance premiums and outrageous repair costs, which sometimes exceed $15,000 each. This year's used EV sales have dropped 30% as a result of these adverse variables, and new EV sales are twice as slow as those of conventional cars. Considerable costs, a constrained range, and inadequate infrastructure for charging discourage prospective purchasers even more. The problem is made worse by the winter, when there aren't many working charging stations, leaving EVs stranded in parking lots. These difficulties serve as a reminder of why many still choose gas-powered vehicles. Their ease of use, dependability, and cost make them a more desirable option. A 2020 Tesla, for example, has lost half of its value in just 3 years, not to mention the ongoing problems with EV batteries degrading. Political heavyweights like Joe Biden are pressing ahead with plans to outlaw gas-powered vehicles and impose strict environmental regulations despite mounting evidence to the contrary regarding EVs. He is trying to fool people into believing that electric vehicles are a good investment by offering tax breaks of up to $7,500 per vehicle. Still, it's rather fortunate that this is happening at the same time that auto loan interest rates are rising. It is evident that the EV market is now in chaos and that major obstacles are preventing its expansion. The public's disenchantment with electric vehicles, EVs, is a result of hidden defects, high costs, poor range, poor charging infrastructure, and dependability problems. As we continue, we will look at a number of examples that demonstrate the disadvantages and costs related to owning an electric vehicle. Numerous studies and polls indicate that owners of electric vehicles are having major issues with upkeep and repairs and are considering going back to combustion engines. What led them to believe that? Watch this. Let us first discuss some real-world issues that EV owners encounter. According to the Wall Street Journal, a neighbor of Scott McFiggin's in San Francisco backed into his Rivian pickup truck, resulting in a $22,000 repair bill. Due to the high cost of repairing their new cars after an accident, EV owners like McFiggin are faced with an unexpected drawback. It costs a lot of money to correct even a small ding. So what is the main problem here? As the technology behind electric vehicles is still developing, there aren't an adequate number of qualified repair persons and workshops that can repair your EV. When there is a lack of professionals, fixing an EV may cost you an arm and a leg. Also, the average repair cost of an EV in the US is $6,587, compared with $4,215 for other vehicles. This makes EVs not affordable to an average US family, and repairing them takes months. On top of that, there was another report saying that a man was unable to drive his EV as there were complaints about the engine due to the cold weather. So the question is, if you are living in a cold climate area or a cyclone-prone area, and you don't have access to the power grid, and you run out of batteries, what are you going to do? Unless you have a combustion engine vehicle, you can get in trouble in such a situation. This makes us think that EVs are not replacements for combustion engine vehicles, but they are supplementary. Here comes the importance of hybrid vehicles. According to a recent survey, almost half of Americans say they are unlikely to buy an electric car as their next vehicle due to the high price and shortage of charging locations. Merely 19% of participants in the survey, conducted by the Associated Press Norkey Center for Public Affairs Research and the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago, stated that it is very, or extremely, likely that they will purchase an electric vehicle as their next vehicle. According to the survey, almost 80% of people say that not having access to charging infrastructure is the main reason they haven't purchased an electric vehicle. People from urban, suburban, and rural areas all shared this issue. According to Jennifer Benz, Deputy Director of the AP Norkey Center, there is plenty of interest in purchasing an electric vehicle, but barriers to more people driving them include the high upfront cost of owning one and concerns about the country's charging infrastructure. Building support for an EV future will require policies that address these concerns. Affordability is another concern. EVs continue to be significantly more expensive than their combustion counterparts despite declining costs and the US introducing tax benefits. The cost is too high for the typical American automobile buyer, as loan rates are at a two-decade high. The results coincide with the Biden administration's vigorous efforts to increase EV sales and move the nation toward renewable energy. In an effort to reduce emissions and slow down climate change, the White House has set a target that by 2030, up to half of all new car sales will be electric. Speaking about climate change, it should be understood by now that electric cars are only as clean as their power supply. Experts debate whether, when manufacturing and battery life are taken into consideration, electric automobiles are more environmentally harmful than gas guzzlers. The market for electric cars has never been more mainstream thanks to a variety of new models from well-known automakers like Toyota and Chevy, as well as California's subsidies for electric car consumers. Tesla's emphasis on high-end, luxurious automobiles has increased demand for their products. Electric cars are now more than just an environmental statement. They're now a status symbol in the IT industry. However, when the production process for the automobiles and their batteries are taken into consideration, some experts find the zero emissions claim irritating. They have continued to debate whether or not electric cars are truly more environmentally benign than gas guzzlers. Regular charging from the nearby electrical grid is necessary for electric vehicles. The power facilities that generate such energy are not emission-free. In 2015, even in California, fossil fuels accounted for 60% of the state's electricity, with the remaining 14% coming from solar and wind power combined. There are a number of obstacles facing the electric vehicle sector, especially in China and the US. Donald Trump's recent findings have made it clear that China provides more than 80% of the raw materials required to make EV batteries. Trump emphasized the necessity for people to have the right to choose their automobiles, even going so far as to warn that if re-elected, he will put an end to the EV frenzy. Furthermore, the market has become more unclear due to Ford's decision to stop producing their well-liked F-150 Lightning pickup truck and GM and Honda's cancellation of their plans to produce inexpensive EVs at around $3,000. So, what do you think of the EV industry? Where is it heading? Tell us in the comments. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, then don't forget to hit that like button below. And if you want to stay updated with more great content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button. and just ringing the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us. Your support means the world to us.